Hey guys, welcome back to Gunshots. This week I'm down at Bywell Shooting Ground on a reasonably nice sunny day. Northumberland spring, we'll take a grey day. I'm taking a look this week at the Winchester SX4 semi-auto. The SX4 is an evolution rather than a revolution on the SX3. And I want to take a look at some of the differing features and obviously discuss the technical bits. The gun is presented in this matte black finish with this plastic furniture. It makes it quite light, and I'm guessing it's pretty much designed to be used more or less in shall I say, harsher environments. I wouldn't describe this as a clay gun per se. I think it's much more of a wing shooting gun. We've got 28-inch barrel, 18.7 board, with a 3.5-inch chamber, Invector Plus chokes, and we've got a narrow game style rib with a red front bead. The stock, the nominal length of pull on this is 14.25, although to be honest, measuring this gun, it's dead on 14. I think because this is a tri-gun, some of the spaces are missing, so I've got this as long as I can get it, and it's still a bit too short for me. I'm gonna discount that because you are supposed to be able to adjust this gun out to whatever length of pull you want, but I will say for now that this is too short for me. It comes with built-in sling swivel studs, allowing you to mount a sling. The stock itself is almost militaristically styled with this SX4 in this sort of futuristic font here. The grip is very, very slim with the moulded checkering, and to be honest, it's quite comfortable. There's no palm swell to speak of. It's very, very slim indeed. Forend is obviously accommodating the magazine tube and the piston, so it's quite large, but to be honest, it's not uncomfortable. It gives an overall reasonably comfy grip. Like I said, it's a bit short, so I'm having to be quite careful when I mount the gun to get the position behind the rib right. In terms of differences to the SX3, the major ones are the redesign of the safety, the new bolt handle, and the slightly enlarged bolt release. Bolt release is very comfortable. Nice and big. You don't have to apply an undue amount of pressure to get it to go in. The bolt handle is actually very, very comfortable. It has a big knobbly striations on it, but they're not sharp, and it is very, very comfortable for operating. The safety has been redesigned so that I think on the default on the old one, the safety when it was in fire was that way out, which actually made it difficult to reach the trigger. On this one, they have made it so that you can change it round, and it operates by default for right-handers, where the safety is pushed away in order for you to access the trigger. The trigger itself is actually on this gun surprisingly good, really, really nice for semi-auto, pretty crisp and clean, not too much creep. Actually worthy of praise for a semi. Obviously it's a gas operated gun, so it does wind up getting a bit mucky, but one of the things about the SX4 is the shortness of the piston stroke. If you have a look here, you can see that the amount of distance that the piston has to travel is less than an inch, which makes for a very, very fast stroke, getting power to push the gun back and then back into battery, meaning that you get very, very fast lock time to get the second shot off. Let's go and see how it shoots. So as you can see, I've had the gun around the sporting layout, and it's time to give you some shooting impressions. Unsurprisingly, this is a semi-auto. I'm not a huge fan. I don't think that they're necessarily the best gun for sporting clays, although it is very much a personal preference thing. I think, to be honest, it's too light for serious clay work. Probably great if you were going to have it as a gun in a hide, shooting some ducks or some pigeons out, whatever. You want something robust that you can chuck in the back of the hide and let the dog chew or whatever. But as a clay gun, I think there are better options out there. For close-in targets, obviously that very, very lightweight allows you to move the gun around, but for those long ones, when you want a nice steady line, the lack of weight in the gun really does make it more difficult than it needs to be to get your swing through right. The trigger does definitely deserve a special mention. It is very, very good for a semi, and overall it's been quite nice to shoot. I mean, the recoil impulse is nice. Obviously it is too short for me. It has been banging me in the nose, but again, I can't hold that against it. Although what I will say is I think the narrowness of the stock, and accompanied by the fact that there's not a lot of weight back here, and the fact it's too short for me, has made my mount a little bit inconsistent. But I think with proper adjustment that could perhaps be overcome. So 700 quid semi-autos. There are several in this market segment to look at. A lot of them are very, very similar in terms of characteristics. If I were choosing a gun, I think I'd probably be more likely to go for a Benelli, something like an M2 or maybe a Franchi Affinity, and that's purely down to how easy they are to clean. If you've ever run a gas versus an inertia gun, you'll know what I'm talking about. But if that doesn't bother you and you like the aesthetics of this gun, then who knows, you may well enjoy it. I can't think of any really sort of negative points about it as far as semis go. It's been very, very nice to shoot. Ergonomically, not too bad at all, as I discussed. The trigger, the hand, the operating handle, etc. There's a lot of plus points to this gun, but whether or not that makes it a go-to buy for you, I think, again, as I always say, go try one and buy the one you like. As ever, guys, thanks very much for tuning in. Please do support me on Patreon if you can. Subscribe and take a look at the rest of my videos. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.